to speak for the friends. And then I'm going to beg your indulgence. It's something you've not seen in a funeral before, but if you trust me, maybe you will appreciate it. But we're going to ask Chuck and Mr. Chuck, and see, I don't know him. He's my elder, so I got to put a handle on it like I was trained. That's Mr. Chuck.
Amen.
Since I don't know him. That was my status.
I'm so used to saying it in St. David every Sunday. Peace.
Peace.
That's a segment of the mass. That's our favorite. I heard 3 or 4 things said up here. For instance, start with share. I lived about 12, 14 blocks, and I used to walk there. But we would rehearse, you know, the major city was rehearsal halls. And well, you know that hour 2 is up. You have to leave out. So Sam told Harold find us a place. And it was in South Central LA. 37 in Vermont. One of the more corner grocery stores, we cleaned it out.
Mm-hmm.
It was Harold's. The soul station #1, I wrote it in that window. That's where we rehearsed. But anyway, one morning I walked in there. Sheriff was sitting on a piano stool, and the son was standing up. And the pianist, the newborn pianist, and Mom, the bass player, was standing on the upright piano we had. And she wasn't even known then, you know. Sheriff was 17, I believe, then. Harold came from the studio one day where he recorded, I don't know who you all up. This tune, it's that same thing, no, we did Change Gonna Come at RC Addicted. Look like Sam hired everybody in Los Angeles that day. One thing made me feel good that day. When Earl Palmer told me, said, Chuck, see, the background voice is Glass Johnson's sister with me. Said, listen to that too, stay in tune. That not be how. I was sitting there on the piano. There were 23 pieces in that. But to get to the point, how it all started. Phone rang at my house on my house on the go engineer, as far as I'm concerned. My wife was living there. She called me to the phone. It was Harold. He said he's putting together a group of recording company. And there it goes. And when they were speaking about, Darlene was speaking about the receipts and all that, he said, one night he and I never last was riding around the city. And we got to Columbus and Claiborne, and he opened the trunk. Harold had 2 file cases in that trunk. That was our file. We had our office. Therefore, and there's so much I could say, but I don't want to hold up the program. We did that Changes Gonna Come and RC Big in 1964. Oh yeah, one day, Tennessee Walker, that's what it is. We came in the studio recording that and saying, and Sam would get mad at me when he come to his house. Me and Harold, John Woodrow, Ray Tyler, Melvin, we riding Harold's station wagon. We went by that house in Baldwin Hills there. And his closet was long as near the speaker there. And I just happened to walk past and looked in there and see all the clothes. Sam said, anything you see in there you like? Good thing I grabbed that blue suit because he's an inch or 2 taller than me. But we was the same side built at that time. I was 36 and away some 40. I got two square suits and two sweaters from Saks.
Yes, that's funny.
Joe Power came for that balloon. And they had one. I kept that chip yellow and black. When we grew up. But John Woodruff said, and Chuck do something lucky. Harold Battiste said, oh, he ain't lucky, he's just cheeky. Yeah.
That sounds like something he would say too.
But I don't want to hold up.
I will take a cue from what Chuck just said. You know, I could go on and on. But Harold's book, The Unfinished Blues, is something that everybody who has not read should read. I met Harold, I was still in high school. And a friend of mine, Roger Dickinson, and I used to go to his house and we sight read out of his corrals of jazz spot that he had. And as time went on, and I was in my senior year, and I had to catch a bus to go to my high school, which is about a 45-minute ride. And it would turn right at Gentilly. So in the spring, sometimes I would never make it to school. Because when the bus turned onto Gentilly, the stop was right at Dillard University, which is where Harold was. And sometimes I said, man, I'm not going today. I'll get off this bus and I'd go over to Dillard and hang out with Harold. And at the time, a wonderful pianist named Cedar Walton was a freshman at Dillard, had come from Houston. I'm sorry, come from Dallas. And the three of us would get together and just have like jam session. And I was looking forward to that for next year, when I would be a freshman. Of course, Cedar didn't come back, and he went on up to New York and became a renowned jazz pianist. And the number of stories could go like on and on and on. But I was on my computer and I found something that I'd like to share. I think one of the best ways for any teacher to be celebrated in a realistic sense is to hear what his students say about him. In one sense, I was a student of Harold for a long time. But he and I were close, and we shared the experiences of many of those who are today referred to as the giants. And we were able to pass some of this on when I had asked Harold to come from California to the University of New Orleans and be on the faculty. I just pulled this off of Facebook today. There's a young Canadian named Boy Nicholson, who's a piano player, and he came to the University of New Orleans. And this is what Nicholson wrote about Harold. He said when Harold Battiste would occasionally conduct a UNO jazz orchestra, he wouldn't count off the tunes. He would just start singing them and dancing a little. Sometimes band members would be making noise, and if you weren't listening, you'd miss the fact that it was his way of counting off if we didn't take the tempo and start playing. I'm sure he had just sung the entire arrangement. I missed the Battiste dance steps.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Battiste was the type of person who wouldn't tell you things he'd accomplished unless you asked him. And even then, he'd still ignore opportunities to toot his own horn. But talking with him, I did manage to learn how he helped shape much of the music we all loved. There were songs we all grew up with that the world doesn't know he played a major part in. Sam Cooke came to Mr. Bat with the first part of You Send Me, but it was incomplete. Mr. Bat said Cooke just kept singing, Darling, You Send Me. And Mr. Bat thought it needed a bridge. Not to mention, there was no musical arrangement written. So before the recording session, Mr. Bat wrote an arrangement, and a bridge was created as well. And there's more Battiste magic on a lot of the music that we all love. I will write more as I go back and check over what we've talked about. Long live the memory of Harold Battiste.
Amen.
Thank you.
Now, I know most of y'all don't go to this Baptist church. I'll put it that way. And we survived as a people because we followed leadership. We'll be here 3 hours if everybody who knew Dr. Bat is allowed to speak as a friend. Because you can't tell it like I tell it. And every one of you know it better than the one who spoke before you. I know this. But I'm practiced in this a little bit, and I beg your indulgence. If you would trust me and be obedient, I know that's a little hard, both of them at the same time. But if you would trust me and be obedient, we can do something that I think will bless the family and each other, and take up a little time, but not too much time. Are you willing to trust me, or just say, Rev, just go on ahead? Are you willing to trust me?
Yes.
Here's what I want you to do. Starting in this section over here, and then this section, and this section, and this section, everybody but the family. When I point in your direction, wherever it's your aisle or your row, I want you to stand and say, my name is Dwight Webster, and I knew Harold Battiste. Or if you didn't know him, you appreciate him. My name is so-and-so, and I appreciate Harold Battiste. Now, you can pass if you choose. But this way, everybody will get a chance. This is your litany, by the way. Everybody will get a chance to participate, say something. It'll take up a little time, but not nearly as much time as it would be taking as all of y'all talking. And I will cut you off, all right?
Yes, you will.
So can we try that?
Yes.
I do that with preachers, and believe it or not, they follow. Preachers, black preachers, Baptist preachers. So that's what I want you to do. If you don't stand, please just project your voice so that the family can hear the names of the people who are here and some of the other folk can hear. That's going to take us maybe about 7, 8, 9 minutes. But if you're willing to do that, let's try. Let's start over here. My name is Vivian.
My name is Vivian McFarland, and Brother Battiste is my brother in Christ.
Just no, baby. No, stop right there. I'm making this simple. My name is Vivian McFarland, and I knew Harold Battiste, or I love Harold Battiste, or I appreciate just one thing. Okay, Katrina?
My name is Lucius Denson. I knew and love Harold Battiste.
All right. Let's start down here at the front. Thank you. Next one.
My name is Jason Marcellus, and I knew Harold Battiste.
My name is Miles Lamont, and I knew Harold Battiste.
Next one.
My name is Ernest Collins, and I knew, admired, and respected Harold Battiste.
See, you must be Baptist. Next person.
My name is Ted Quandt, and I appreciate Harold Battiste.
Next row.
My name is Pat Darlene. My life is better because Harold Battiste.
One thing, baby, one thing.
My name is Michael Colvin, and I appreciate Harold Battiste.
My name is Lips. I love Harold Battiste.
I'm Charlie Johnson, and I knew Harold Battiste.
My name is Freddie Hill, and I appreciate Harold Battiste.
My name is Pat Ryan, and I appreciate Harold Battiste.
My name is Mama Lou, and I know Harold.
My name is Greer Mindy, and I knew Harold Battiste.
My name is Jimmy Jules. I'm from Reserve, Louisiana, and Harold Battiste.
I love it. You love it. You know. Thank you.
My name is Al Kennedy, and I learned a great deal from Harold Battiste.
You too.
My name is Carol Bebel, and I love Father Harold Battiste.
Next row behind. You can pass, but the next person. Next person. You can pass. You can pass. Sabrina.
Sabrina Mays, Montana. I knew and loved Harold Battiste.
Big Chief.
My name is Darrell Montana. I knew and respected Harold Battiste.
My name is Kid Johnson, I knew Harold Battiste.
My name is Florence. I appreciate Robert Thompson, met and appreciate Harold Battiste.
My name is Lynetta Gilbert. I knew and appreciate Harold Battiste.
My name is Lisa Greenberry, and I knew Dr. Harold Battiste.
My name is Annette Matthews, and I love Harold Battiste.
Keep going. Keep going.
Elvis Smith, I appreciate Dr. Battiste.
Great. Let's go across the next row. Okay, go ahead.
John Summers, and I knew Harold Battiste.
Anybody else in that back row? That's it. This row in the back. Start in the back. Come forward. Thank you.
My name is Lula Elsie, and I love Harold Battiste.
My name is Jermaine Basso, and I love Harold. Eugenia Adams, and I love Harold Battiste. Leah Chase, and I knew Harold Battiste.
Keep going. See, you're creating jazz. Come on, come on, come on. Let's get up. That's excellent.
My name is Matt Suarez, and I knew and respected Harold Battiste.
Sasha Leonard-Kasky, and I knew and respected Harold Battiste.
Martin Mazikowski, I knew Harold Battiste.
Steve Mazikowski, I knew and respected and loved Harold Battiste.
Ira Padnos, I knew Harold Battiste.
David Cunion, I knew and learned from Harold Battiste.
Alex Stevie, I knew Harold Battiste. Thank you, Harold.
Keep coming. Keep coming. Next row.
My name is Ed Peterson, and I knew Harold Battiste.
Thank you. Next row.
My name is Wesley Schmidt, I knew Harold Battiste.
I'm Fred Keston, I knew Harold Battiste.
I'm Hannibal Lacube, and I love Harold.
Ronaldo Gettridge, and I knew Harold Battiste.
Keep it coming.
Jessica Dorman, and I knew Harold Battiste.
Keep it coming.
I'm Allison
Cody, and I knew Harold Battiste. I'm Teresa Devlin, and I knew Harold Battiste.
Keep it going.
Loisa D. Adams, I knew and appreciated Mr. Bat.
I'm Azania Briggs, and I knew and loved Mr. Battiste.
Bless you.
I'm Melba Ferdinand, and I knew and appreciate Harold Battiste.
Yes, yes.
I'm Ken Ferdinand. I played with Harold Battiste.
Deacon John Moore, I knew Harold Battiste.
Catherine Reed Robinson, I appreciate
Keep it going.
Harold
Keep it
Battiste.
going. Keep it going.
Reed Webb, I knew Harold Battiste.
Kathy Sebastian, I knew Harold Battiste.
Keep it going.
Pamela Nolan, I knew and loved Harold Battiste.
Cassandra Thompson, I loved Harold Battiste.
Lisa Rad, I loved and appreciated Harold Battiste.
Marshall Riles, I knew and respected Mr. Battiste.
Keep it going.
Faye Williams Penny, I knew of Harold Battiste and appreciated him.
Edwina Frank, I'm the sister of Edwin Frank and Harold Battiste, who used to use our family piano together. A lot.
Sandy Henderly, thank you, Harold.
Jan Ramsey, I knew and loved
Next one. Next one. Pass it.
I'm Pastor Brenda Square, and I archived his paper, and thank God for Harold.
I'm Darlene Jones, and he gave me this shirt that I'm wearing.
My name is Elwood Thomas and Mom.
Amen.
My name is Elwood Thomas and Howard was my brother.
My name is Celeste Thomas, and that's my brother-in-law.
Amen.
Family, you can pass it, choose. Honor. Okay.
My name is Anna Robinson, and I love Harold Battiste.
We're gonna hear from the family there. Behind Mr. Chuck, and Karen, Reverend Karen.
I'm Bill Salon, and I love Harold Battiste. I'm Diane Mack, and I love Harold.
I appreciate that. Understood, Harold Battiste.
Next row.
My name is Lisa Dubois, and I appreciated and loved Harold Battiste.
I'm Lydia Green Faust, I knew Harold Battiste.
Cheryl Bauer Stevens, I appreciated Harold Battiste.
Next row.
I'm Gwendolyn Foxworth, and I knew and appreciated Harold Battiste.
Jarvis DeBerry, I loved Harold Battiste.
Kelly DeBerry, I salute Harold Battiste.
Next row.
Dennis Reese, respected and admired.
Thank you. Next row.
Ella Webster, I love Dr. Batt.
Next row.
Son Webster, I knew Brother Battiste.
Aubrey. There was something that came out. Next.
My name is Stephen Sweetline, I knew Harold Battiste.
Next.
My name is Gloria Sweetline, I knew Harold Battiste.
Keep going. Keep going.
Vicky Charles, I loved and appreciated Battiste. Norman Johnston, I knew and loved Harold Battiste.
Keep going. Keep going.
I'm Jason Patterson, I've always known Harold Battiste. Julius Kimbrough, and Battiste.
Bless you.
Brian Shakir, and he was perhaps one of the greatest musicians ever to our city.
My name is Jane Harvey Brown, and I appreciate Harold Battiste.
Thank you so much.
My name is Lawrence Cotton, I knew Harold Battiste.
Jerry Brown, I knew and loved Harold Battiste.
Bless you.
Mona Lambert, I love Harold Battiste.
I'm Roger Dickerson, I knew that well. I'm Henry Lacy, I love Harold Battiste.
Stan Taylor representing his cousin, Mr. George Cooper.
Michelle Jean-Pierre, I appreciate
Keep going.
John Hopkins, I appreciate Harold.
Next.
Jonathan Bloom, I knew Harold Battiste.
Bless you.
Dan Williams, I respected and loved Harold Battiste.
Next.
Michael Pierce, I knew Harold Battiste.
Keep going. Bless your heart, God. Bless your heart. Bless your heart. Bless your heart. Come on, come on. Next. You're messing up the rhythm. Come on. Next one.
My name is Tony Bassman, and I pray with Harold Battiste.
Any more understand? Thank you. Listen, I learned from Kid Jordan, and I learned from Hannibal Macumbe, and Wynton Marsalis, all except Kid who played here, that jazz was driven by the percussionists. And you all created a visual and verbal jazz, those of you who stayed within the boundaries. There's always somebody that goes off on some other riff. Oh, act like you know. But I'm sure you have not experienced this before. You hear who's here, you saw who is here, and the impact that this man had and continues to have. Give God some praise for Harold Battiste.